In what would be a largely unprecedented political maneuver, Democrats appear ready to shut down the People's Chamber for the remainder of 2023. This means I am giving this end-of-year legislative speech in early November. I suppose it is fitting that the supporters of big government and central control would decide to close the People's Chamber, allowing the executive branch to go unchecked for a period of time. This is what happens when government is focused more on its own agenda than on the needs of the people. And it follows a pattern of what has been forced upon all the people of Michigan this year by their government. Not long ago in this chamber, I quoted Hayek from his book, The Road to Serfdom. The argument I was making at the time was that the policy being advanced by the Democrat Party was fundamentally socialist. I essentially was making the point that socialists are centralized planners that use coercion as the means to their end. This is entirely opposite to a free market economy where individuals determine what is produced and at what price, and through a decentralized manner in an open and competitive market. The two systems are opposite of each other and cannot be reconciled. A planned economy requires coercion, and a free market economy requires liberty. It's a very simple concept. When I quoted Hayek to point out that Democrats were pursuing a coercive and socialist policy, I noticed my colleagues on the other side of the aisle seemed rather irritated. I was left with the impression that my Democrat colleagues did not feel as if they had relied on a heavily socialist way of governance. Well, why don't we review the Democrat policies advanced this year and see if they fit the socialist model of centralized planning achieved through coercive means? We can let the people of Michigan decide where the chips may fall. Democrats fought against lowering the income tax rate, opting to implement an unfair and uneven tax structure, picking winners and losers, and increasing government spending instead. They added the equivalent of over 700 full-time equivalent employees, created new state bureaucracies, and codified Obamacare. They told communities it doesn't matter if they want wind or solar projects in their backyards. If the state wants a project there, that's where it's going to go. And it'll eventually eat up more than 300,000 acres of farmland in the process. They have mandated utilities to be 100% renewable energy by 2040 and given away billions of taxpayer dollars to massively overpay corporations for electric vehicle projects, for projects that were so poorly planned that they may not actually come to fruition. On top of that, they created a new state office because they know this forced transition will kick workers out of their current jobs and they will have to find new ones. Democrats repealed right to work and coerced employees to associate with the union even if they don't desire to do so. They have restored prevailing wage mandates on government projects, which increases taxpayer expense. They are establishing a price control board for prescription drugs and forcing landlords to accept sources of income they may not deem reliable. They took away Second Amendment rights, forced employers to adhere to a woke gender ideology, and, if that doesn't top it all, require deer hunters to report their harvesting to the state government. And these are just the notable policies. It seems as if every day there's a new Democrat proposal or bill introduced to use the government to save the people from themselves. It's hard to deny that this list of policies does not aim to replace the invisible hand of Adam Smith with the iron fist of Karl Marx. I say if the shoe fits, wear it. The Democrat policies advanced this year in this legislature are big government socialism. This is a year that has marched Michigan down the road to serfdom, and I say we adjust course back to the ideal of freedom America was founded on. Thank you, Mr. President.